Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to today's edition of Notre Dame Daily, and I want to bookend the program with some women's basketball and start in the WNBA. We all know, especially if you watched the games and went to them and followed the program closely, that Sonia Citron was one of the pulses of this Notre Dame women's basketball program the last 4 years into the WNBA with the recent 25 draft, third overall pick in the opening round. And after a career that saw her average over 14 points, 5 boards, and almost 3 assists, she begins her pro career with a bang. To start it, she's helped her Washington Mystics club out to a 2-1 start, 19-point performance in a season-opening win over Atlanta to begin her pro career, and that was great to watch. I actually was able to see much of that game, and then followed that performance up with games of 15 and 10 points, the 10.8 rebound performance she had in Game 3, which was the only loss to Golden State so far this season, really established her as one of the premier rookies in the league. Now, when you look at this Washington team, Citron's going to be a major reason why they have success if they're able to achieve it. And we will learn a lot about that team and the engine that is Sonia Citron in the next couple of games, because the Mystics have Las Vegas and Phoenix coming up next on the schedule. Those were 2 teams who were postseason teams a year ago, so it's going to be fun to watch Citron continue to develop and play well against top-flight talent, especially coming up the next couple of games for the Mystics. And just switching to football, I know we had talked about the Notre Dame USC rivalry from a football perspective. That, let's call it what it is, it's in flux. The future is unknown past 2026. A year has been offered on top of the contract by USC. Pete Bavacqua has been very open, very passionate, time and time again, saying he wants this rivalry to continue. But USC, and we can't forget or understate this point, the USC athletics program is under new leadership, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of you-know-what under the you-know-what to get this going, okay? And as far as USC is concerned, with the new layout from the college football playoff, which impacts Notre Dame as well, I talked about that yesterday, I'll talk more about it momentarily, perhaps there isn't enough motivation for USC to get this going. But news broke just a few hours ago, and it was reported by Inside USC, a prominent social media outlet affiliated with the USC, posting on its X account that there's a group of boosters heavily involved with the USC football program that are not happy with the current state of this rivalry as it pertains to their university. And they want this long-term extension to get done. One of the boosters allegedly said, and again, this is according to Inside USC on its X account, that if a long-term deal is not done, he's going to take USC out of his will. So these reports continue to come, and it looks like if there's going to be a saving grace in this now, I'm on the record as being optimistic. I do think it will get done past the 26 campaign and on into the future. Remains to be seen, obviously, but you get reports like this. There's a shred of truth in everything, folks, and this is something that'll have to be continue to be monitored, because we know now, and we knew this prior, and we're not reinventing the wheel or being Nostradamus to know that cash is king. And in the age of NIL, it really shouldn't be all that surprising that a report like this surfaces. But again, and I'll go back to that one of the earlier points I made, with the USC athletic department being run by a new leadership group, is this going to create enough proverbial noise to make a difference? I think ultimately it gets done, but as I said earlier in the week, only time, and yes, money, is going to tell us the full story. As far as how a lot of these reports and shakeups in the college football world relate to Notre Dame, it's impactful. From my perspective, and the perspective of many others, look, there's always going to be people who feel that Notre Dame's independence is a joke. It shouldn't be allowed. They should join a conference. I have yet to converse with people who can really give me a full justification on why they feel that way. Either they are misinformed about what they think they know, or they just flat out despise Notre Dame athletics. And as Notre Dame fans, there's no middle ground. You either love them or you hate them. But this new college football playoff format, which will now go by a straight rankings formula, meaning the top 4 teams at the end of the regular season and conference championships who are ranked 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the poll will get the top 4 seeds in the now second year of the 12-team playoff. Last year, in the inaugural campaign with the new CFP, it was the top 4 rated conference champions who were awarded those byes. That now impacts Notre Dame, as I said yesterday, from the perspective of you don't have to win a conference championship to get a bye anymore if you finish 1, 2, 3, or 4. So the Irish are very much in the mix for that, and they don't have to worry about that extra game on the schedule. Begs the question, why join a conference now? Why would you do it? And quite honestly, any universe that may have existed where Notre Dame joining a conference before this latest change can now be pretty much put to bed, can it? It can be ignored. The Irish are remaining independent. In this new model, it behooves them to stay who they are. You can now get a bye if you finish in the top 4 without that conference championship game, which was heavily weighted, for obvious reasons, a year ago. There's still going to be some who hem and haw about Notre Dame's independence. Let them. The bottom line is the Irish are staying independent. And as promised, we started the show with women's hoops. I want to end it. Big recruit, big commit coming to Coach Ivy and company in South Bend. Wing Bella Ragone is the first player to commit in the 2026 class, a 5-star recruit from Brazelton, Georgia. Carries an impressive resume. Last season, over 23 points and 11 boards per game. She finished in the state of Georgia on the women's basketball side in high school, second in the Player of the Year rankings, according to those rankings and reports that come out at the end of the year via Gatorade. She's also the daughter of former NFL QB Dave Ragone, who is now the current quarterback coach for the Los Angeles Rams. Her mom, Marjorie Ragone, played at the University of Louisville, played basketball there. So she's going to come on board with Notre Dame after, obviously, as a 5-star recruit, receiving a litany of offers, including one from her mom's alma mater, Louisville, but Duke, UCLA, Florida State, Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, amongst a handful of others. This is a huge fish for Coach Ivy and company, and it's the first big splash they've made in a 26 class. We've talked about how Notre Dame will look different on the hardwood from the women's basketball perspective next season, but going into 26 and beyond, this is a big splash in the pool they have made in the recruiting department as they go out and get the commitment from Bella Ragone at a position of need who can play out on the wing. We're going to have plenty of updates concerning all things Notre Dame, a little golf taking place with Jacob Modeleski in the NCAA championships. We'll keep you abreast on everything that's happening out there in California, and any more breaking news as it pertains to recruiting or anything related blue and gold, I'll have it for you right here on Notre Dame Daily. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Irish.